Greetings YouTube, my name is Alex and I am the Reef Dork, and today I'm going to show you my top 5 beginner reefing mistakes and I'm going to tell you how you can avoid them. Let's check it out. Number 5 then is to buy beginner corals. When you decide to take the plunge and start buying corals, the natural thing to do is look for the most forgiving corals you can find, and that will probably take you to mushrooms and leather corals. They're bomb-proof, generally fairly cheap, and are a safe way to get your foot on the coral ladder. But they have dull colours and most people will get bored of them quite quickly. The solution? Well, the truth is there are plenty of soft and LPS corals that are fairly forgiving, and the variety of colours in zoas in particular is fantastic. So if you choose carefully, you can still get easy to keep corals that are much more eye-catching than beige lumps. And that's especially the case under blue lights, when zoas and other corals like LPS fluoresce and really pop. Number 4, using your local fish shop as your sole point of advice. Now, I'm not slating fish shops here. Most of the shops I visit regularly are really helpful and give sound advice. But not every member of staff will be like that, particularly if your local fish shop isn't a saltwater specialist. And at the end of the day, shops are there to sell to you. So they have a vested interest in persuading you to buy what they have in stock. The solution? Join an online forum. There are loads of marine-only forums with hundreds of experienced members who are only too happy to offer you advice based on years of experience. You'll also get a broader range of answers, as different people will have different experiences with the same fish. So you'll be able to weigh up how risky a fish or coral you want to buy is, get independent advice on the best equipment, and get ideas on how to fix problems like algae, fish diseases, and equipment malfunctions. And as a nice little bonus, people are only too happy to show you their own reefs, which is a great source of inspiration. And if you follow other people's journeys, you'll learn from their mistakes and avoid making the same errors yourself. Now, you'll find that reef keeping is a community hobby, and you might even make friends or find local enthusiasts who can help you out. And if forums are not your thing, you should at least think about joining a Facebook group or two. In my experience, you get less detailed advice, but they still have experienced members and will usually give you an instant answer. And a really good Facebook group like Worldwide Reefing can be a great place to get advice and check out other people's tanks. Number 3 is not testing your parameters regularly. Water chemistry can change quickly in a reef tank, particularly in the early days when your tank is establishing itself. Regularly testing nitrate, phosphate, alkalinity and so on can become a real chore, and if your tank looks okay, it's easy to assume it will stay that way. But it's essential to test regularly, particularly when you're starting out. It's much easier to stop a problem occurring if you see it coming slowly, rather than trying to firefight when your tank is riddled with algae. Prevention rather than cure and all that. The solution? Well, there are test kits that will make life easier. I love my Hano alkalinity checker. It gives you a consistent, accurate result without having to interpret slight changes in colour. And salinity pens are easier to read than refractometers and much more accurate than hydrometers. But the best way to keep on top of testing is to book yourself a regular time slot each week and stick to it. It might be on a Saturday morning before the wife and kids are up, or in the evening when your tank lights are blue and you can take the opportunity to enjoy your reef when it's looking its best. You could also try keeping a spreadsheet or record to give you context. When you track your parameters over time, not only will you get to know your reef better, you'll also find you actually want to know what your parameters are, and that gives you the inspiration to get the test kits out. But if all that sounds like too much hard work and you're rich, you can just send a water sample off for an ICP test. That's where scientists in a lab will test everything for you. They're about 30 quid a time, but if money is no object, you won't get a more comprehensive and accurate set of results. Number 2 then is not researching a purchase. Now, we've all been there. You're in your local fish shop and you see a stunning fish or coral that you simply have to have. It looks harmless enough, so how bad can it be? Well, it could be a disaster. You could buy an angelfish that eats all your corals, a small fish that bullies other fish to death, or a coral that depletes your water chemistry faster than you think and causes other corals to sulk or even die. The solution? Well, ideally, you'd research online, ask on a forum, maybe canvass opinion from a few different shops, but it doesn't have to be that much. A quick look at a website like Live Aquaria will tell you how big a fish gets, if it's aggressive, if it's safe to keep with corals and shrimp, and how much space it needs. With corals, you'll see things like how easy they are to keep, lighting and flow requirements, preferred water conditions, and whether they're likely to sting other corals or even eat fish. That takes a matter of seconds, so you can do it while you're in the shop, and it might just save you a load of money, strife and heartbreak. So to number 1 on my list then is rushing. The most commonly used phrase you will hear as a beginner is that nothing good happens quickly in a reef tank. Saltwater tanks take time to settle at first and need months to establish bacteria populations, microfauna, filter feeders like sponges, and so on and so on. So if you jam your tank full of fish in the first couple of months, you'll probably end up with rockwork covered in algae that takes months and months to sort out. And if you overload an immature system with corals, particularly stony corals, you'll end up with a tank full of expensive skeletons. The solution? You can use the time your system takes to establish itself to plan what you want your reef to look like. Research what fish and corals you want, find out if they're compatible and suitable for your reef, go and see them in the flesh at your local fish shop, and look at what other people have done with the same tank as you. If you don't form a plan, you'll end up with a mishmash setup that you'll want to change. And while there's no easy fix here, patience is the name of the game, planning your reef can actually be very satisfying and will definitely lead to a better end product. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for future content. And in the meantime, check out some of my other videos. And until next time, I have been the Reef Dog. Thank you, good night.